The Expendables are back now with their new film. And I don't know if you can tell by my face, but this one really didn't do it for me. And I'm here to tell you why. Folks, let's jump into my review of the new film, Expendables 4. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. Today, we're going to be reviewing the new film, Expendables or Expendables 4, coming to theaters September 22nd. Yeah, I mean, one, you either see Expendables 4 or you see Expendables where the A after the D and between the A between the D and the B is the letter 4. Is however they're writing, which is really hella confusing, but whatever. It is the fourth expendable film of the franchise, which I'm going to say that, like, overall, I've been digging this franchise because, one, when you talk about some of the best, some of the most iconic action stars in Hollywood, the fact that you're putting together these sort of Avengers type of films where you're getting them all coming together, and the biggest names of so many different eras or so many different styles of martial arts all coming together or action. It's just, how can you not be a fan of it? And I felt like the first film was truly a big, like, wow, this is cool. The second one upped the ante. The third one upped the ante. And then it became this one, while, like, I don't feel like they truly took a step up in terms of the names attached to it from the previous. Surely they added some names, which I'll talk about, especially some names I was really excited for. But overall, I don't feel like they moved the needle in a way that made me feel like this was a must watch. But nonetheless, because the first three films did what it did, I wanted to check it out. And this film just did not really do it for me. This was probably the most mid of the four films now total that released, because there's a lot of things I just really had problems with. Like, one, I thought like the practical stuff was good because you have some of the best action stars, some of the best martial artists, some of the best fight and stunt coordinators, or this folks with this an amazing resume attached to this film. But it was hard to really look past the really bad and blatantly disrespectful CGI at times. Like, you could tell there was a green screen. You could tell that the Unreal Engine folks were definitely in there doing their thing. There was just moments that I was just like, yeah, that doesn't look good. And granted, this is a popcorn flick, and I'm not looking for too much with the plot, but the plot was even very flat with this one. Like, this one really didn't do anything. Like, it's very simple. The team had to go to Libya. They had to stop this mercenary. The mercenary has nuclear warheads. And in the midst of that, Barney Ross, who is Sylvester Stallone's character, he ends up, this ends up becoming a little something from his past, you know, a mission that he failed over 25 years ago where he has an opportunity to make it right. However, he sacrifices himself pretty early in this film, and now it's left to Lee Christmas, Jason Statham character, to not only get revenge for Barney, but to complete this mission, because there is now a mercenary with nuclear warheads who is ready to set them off. So that's just what it is. So when you talk about the names attached to us, obviously you get Jason Statham returning, Sylvester Stallone, who's in the film very minimum, which I was kind of jaw dropped at that decision, because he's such a important, he's such an important character to the team. And I think he's such a pivotal, like, centerpiece to all of the other names around him, that him not being there is definitely kind of like, wow, okay. Which then now this makes this sort of the Jason Statham solo film as Lee Christmas, with these other folks sort of making cameos, because everybody else is in the film, but they're not really doing too much. Like, I'm gonna keep it 100 here. 50 Cent's character, Easy Day, he comes in, he does nothing in terms of the elevation of the team. And actually, I was expecting, I was very excited. I love 50 Cent. I was very excited to see how his contribution would absolutely, you know, make this film better. And it really didn't do much for me. And I'm going to jump to Dolph Lundgren's character, Gunner, who returns. And, like, the two of them were trying to kind of fill each other out and sort of build some type of camaraderie. But, like, the dialogue with one another was so kind of just awkward, almost cringy at times, that it just didn't work. So like, I feel like Easy Day was not a character that really contribute to the team in a way that was like memorable. And they have Megan Fox's character Gina, who comes in. She's also Lee's girlfriend. She's she's very annoying in the beginning, and then afterwards I'm just never really convinced in any of the action aspects with this character. Like, I was not convinced that she actually was qualified to be on the ground and next to some of these other folks. Like, it almost felt like a parody or running joke, or like she was a mole of some sort. Like, I just was never convinced and buying into that character at all. Now, here's where things got interesting. Here's what really, here, take my money. Tony Jaa absolutely knew what I was getting with him. He did not disappoint. He is a former member of the Expendables. The fact that Barney died, he's like, I gotta revenge my boy. I'm on board. So I'll come back to him in a minute, but Tony Jaa absolutely take my money, and he delivered. Now, Iko coming in, and Iko being this mercenary and Ramat. First of all, I'm just going to tell you right now, anything with Iko Uwais in it, I'm down. I'm absolutely down. Iko and Tony Jaa are two of the best in the business. So you already know what I'm thinking about here. What is that scene going to look like the moment those two get their moments? And unfortunately, we didn't. So I'm a little disappointed to that, but I will say that we did get, which I thought was a very solid fight sequence between Jason Statham and Iko. That was in the trailer. That did not disappoint. I think the only part of that I didn't like is that I wanted more, and beggars can't be choosers here. Randy Couture comes back as Toll Roll, doesn't really do much. Jacob Scipio as Galan. I like this character, this Rico Suave character. He comes in, shakes. He kind of makes these awkward conversations between these other characters. He kind of loosens it up because this character talks a lot. This character has connections from the past. He's the son of a former Expendable. So like, he comes in and Galgo, knowing that he's the son, and how much he idolizes Barney Ross. He's like that annoying little member of the team, or your annoying little brother. But yet, the comedy definitely shakes up some of that awkward moments between some of the other dialogue that's happening. But when he has to cut it on, he has to cut it on. So I enjoyed this character. I think this character was a change of pace and well needed at times. Now, Levy Tran as Lash, a character that I wish we had got more of. And I'm going to jump into another part that I really love. And that was a team up between Lash, again, as Levy Tran, and then Tony Jaa's character, Decha, who they go against. And listen, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Darren. Nope. But Darren has been on a lot of major projects as like the stunt coordinator, the fight coordinator, or just extras. But nonetheless, when it comes down to hand-to-hand combat, when it comes down to stunts, when it comes down to fight choreography, one of the best. Against one of the best, and also having Levy in there as well too, is just, I gotta tell you, this fight scene here, probably one of the best in the movie. So be assured that these names that you are hoping to tango, they do. So by all means, those are my standouts. Is those two fight scenes and whatnot. Now going back to the Sylvester Stallone Sly in this, in all due respect, I feel like his character exiting the film very early was a lot of what was happening during the pandemic with the iconic Bruce Willis, who obviously we know health has been deteriorating. So he kind of went on what I was calling his farewell tour, his retirement tour. And so a lot of films were selling it with his name on it, and he had a very memorable role in it. I think he did over like 30 films during the pandemic. So, and with that, some films he was in it for 15 minutes, some films he was in it the entire, you just never know. But Sly definitely took a page out of his book here with his character Barney Ross, because he just exited the film so early, and you just kind of like, wait, what? Really? You think of yourself like, No, there's no way. And certainly I just could not. I was just kind of baffled. Like, wow, they did that. But again, when it comes down to the production, the CGI wasn't great. There was a lot of noticeable green screen. Definitely some Unreal Engine stuff going on in there. I did love the action cinematography. It really had you engaged in some of the fights and some of the stunts. So that was definitely a positive. Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham, they work good together. So the characters, obviously, who's had time and worked with each other in the past, you really feel that brother banter between the two of them. You enjoyed it while I was there, but as mentioned, Barney dies pretty early, so there's that. I highlighted 2 very good action sequences. There's some other ones that are okay, but obviously the 2 I named, I feel were the best in them. And then, as I mentioned, like, I just don't feel like this was like an elevation in terms of like the previous films, in terms of just the star-studded cast that they've had. Like, yes, you have names attached to it that definitely are attractive on paper, but like, I felt like in the past they had their moments to really shine. This one you didn't really get too much. Like I never really connected or never really drew sort of like a interest into Easy Day 50 Cent's character, because he was just kind of there. You know, he kind of had a few lines and he was kind of shooting some guns. It's kind of like whatever. But like, you know, even in the past, when you talk about like somebody like Terry Crews, like, and Terry has a lot of charisma. Don't get me wrong. It still made you pay attention. I really didn't pay attention to 50's character, and Megan Fox's character was kind of annoying here. I did like Jacob's character. Randy Couture character was just kind of in the background. Dolph sort of has a little bit of moments there, but you know, it takes a little bit of while for that to kind of get ramped up. And then you have Andy Garcia, the legendary Andy Garcia. Definitely collected a check, because the character really didn't do much either. So I don't know, man. It's just, I think this film definitely just decided to put it out. They didn't decide to try to push the needle. Yeah, granted, it had $100 million $100 million budget, but I just don't feel like this film, they put in the effort like they did before. And you know, I'll keep watching them because they are popcorn flips, because I do really enjoy a lot of the folks that's attached to these projects. But this one just was the very most mid of all of the previous films. So, you know, if you want to go see it, go see it. If not, you want to kind of wait till it releases, I would not be opposed to that. But it is Expendable 4, and it is in theaters September 22nd. Y'all can let me know what y'all think, man. Listen, for sure the plot is very flat, and this is like, hey, why am I worried about the plot and whatnot? Sure, forget the plot. But the CGI, there's no way I can't ignore that. That's right in your face. The green screen stuff, right in your face, you know. The bad dialogue between folks, like, it's there, you know. If I was just there for the action, I wish there was a lot more, and that just wasn't the thing. It was just unnecessary other stuff. Like, God, there was a scene with Megan Fox and Jason Statham kind of tangling to ultimately romance. It's kind of like, did I have to have that? You know what I mean? Like, do I have to see Megan Fox out here doing stunt work, or could I have more Tony Jaa or more Iko in this? Yeah, I'll take option B here. And of course, they didn't go that route. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts. But yeah, check it out, folks. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. And then as well, be around for more reviews very soon.